Are you ready?
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh.
Their spirits were sunken and low. Their bags weighed more than a ton. There was neither sign nor show when the bull began his run. The shields were shilling wall to wall. The gig was up, they'd had their fun, and every short got a margin call when the bull began his run. The candle's green came fast and tall. Each wick was bold, quick to stun. His eyes burned red, and his horns did more when the bull began his run. No fortune smiles upon the need. His bags of gold gleam in the sun. Doubters dream of his balance sheet, and every bear is left with none. Since the bull began his run.
That was Satoshi Nakamoto's decision. It wasn't that, well, maybe Nakamoto does work here.
Look to the front, or I'm going to come back there and turn you.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There's no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay? It's not like Google and Facebook. It's not like Apple and Amazon. Yeah, we can debate Apple or Amazon. What's better? They both look like tech monopolies to me. They both look pretty good. On the other end, Bitcoin or no, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a crypto asset. This entire idea of like 60% dominance is bullshit, ridiculous, stupid, right? Like, it's stupid. It's not 60% dominant. It's like 96% or 95% dominant, right? The thing, and you compare it as a crypto asset to a like kind of proof of work crypto network, right? That's going to be a store of value. You know, you're lucky if you find it, you can scrape together 5% of other stuff in the last bucket, so there is no real proof.
Is the Fed just going to print money?
That's literally what Congress has told us to do. And there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. And there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
I'm certain that at the end of the day, it will end up close to zero.
In your scam of a CD, you've conned people into taking a worthless currency that you create for nothing, and they've agreed not to sell it.
Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero. When it comes out, zero.
Can you stay kind of... You are fake news.
Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
I've occasionally thought of addressing you guys as cell pressure. Hello, cell pressure. How are you today? Whining and crying and complaining while pressing sell? Are you yelling and complaining at people not pressing sell?
Yeah. Yo, that intro was fucking inspiring, dude. I'm ready to go.
Bro.
Good job.
I get pumped on it. I got a couple other ones, but I was like, I'm not sure if I'll use them just yet. But yeah, like usually, obviously, you get people coming in, you send it out on the links.
Oh, that's smart. I should do that. That's a good idea.
Just get people going, you know. So, Mr. Coffee, how are you, sir? How you been?
I've been worse. Not so bad. $2,600 ETH. Some coins are doing all right, and we're off the lows. Look, I mean, are we out of the woods? I don't know, but I don't know. I kind of feel a vibe shift. Richard Hart is back. He beat the SEC. Bitcoin's back above 100K. Tariffs are coming to a close. Fed's going to lower rates. Hopefully the fucking wars end. What else can we say? You know, how are you feeling?
Pretty bullish, man. Yeah, pretty bullish. I kind of... So when Bitcoin was in... With all the tariff news and all of that kind of stuff, I was a little bit worried, but then it didn't break down below 73K. So I looked at the chart when I was looking at Bitcoin, and I was like, okay, we had this pump. It was literally on the 6th that we started pumping, straight after Trump getting in and being elected, and then we had that crazy run up, and then we had a bit of kind of downwards consolidation and sideways action, and everyone was calling for 50K. And I'm like, okay, the only way it does that is it has to break down between, I think it was 75 or 73K. And we got close to it, but we never broke down from that first move that happened on the 6th. So I was like, okay, we seem good. And then the Fed meetup that happened, you know, I think people were expecting more. Nothing really happened. And then, you know, the next day, Trump goes, oh, I've got a tariff agreement, which was only with the UK. But then next thing you know, the price starts sending. And so I think it was a nice little sideways consolidation. And then we're hitting the next leg, which you look at like the global M2 and how that's going. You know, China's printing. We're seeing like interest rate cuts in Europe, in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we're waiting for the US to do it, and it will happen. Like the CPI data came out today. The inflation data came out today, and it has fallen to 2.3%. It's an excuse to print money, right? Like, I see. Yeah.
And I was surprised, you know, the M2 in the UK has been going up. The M2 in China has been going up, and the USA as well. The UK lowered rates first, you know, before the US. They reached a trade deal negotiation with the USA. Really, it's just like China. I guess China's the last one. And even China lowered their rates by, 0.1%. Their interest rates are much lower. It's like they lowered it from 1.5 to 1.4. But that's a big deal over there too. So just all the dominoes are lined up, and it's just like, what do we need? We just need Fed to lower rates. I think that's why Trump is so adamant about it. He knows how the game works. It's they've only got a couple levers to pull. They could buy back bonds. They could cut rates. They could raise the debt ceiling, which they also did just yesterday, $4 trillion. So it's like it's just a permanent Ponzi, dude. Like they're gonna keep raising it forever.
Yeah.
And like this is the game, and so crypto is gonna pump when they flood the markets with cash.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of us, so we're either on PulseChain. A lot of us are on Ethereum or Solana or whatever, and the Ethereum side of things, seeing Ethereum start to move. I mean, 4 days from 1.7K to 2.6K.
Beautiful.
You know, people forget, like, if you actually go on Uniswap, you take time out and you go on like Uniswap and have a look at how much liquidity is available between price ranges. It's unbelievably low for the second highest market cap coin. So institutional money, I've been arguing this the last couple of weeks. Is like institutional money, when they want to send a coin, they can send it. Like they do it with the S&P, they do it with the Nasdaq. They can send when they want to send it. And yeah, it's not great that institutional money have taken over Bitcoin and probably Ethereum now, but I really do think that Ethereum will have a decent run. You look at the way the Bitcoin to Ethereum ratio as well. Last time around, and it went lower in terms of ratio, and then last 6 months, 8 months, I think, of the bull run, and then we're starting to see that. We're starting to see a rounded bottom, and you're starting to see
they shook out everybody. They shook out all the normies. They shook out all the non-believers. The institutions have a longer term time horizon because they control the game. They've been buying ETH the whole time. BlackRock bought $3 billion of ETH, and people just like don't think that's a big deal. I don't get it. Like, the prices are down, but it's not permanent. $1,700 ETH? Yeah, it was pretty tough to deal with that, but you just look at what is BlackRock doing? What are all these ETFs doing? They're buying the shit out of it so that they can sell it back to you after they shake you out. Like, that's the game. They're going to make fees on you. They're going to probably pump it to past 7K. And I just keep thinking about that 7K Ethereum. Just imagine the sentiment at 7K ETH. Everyone's got spending money again. Everybody's looking for the next thing. They're going to ape into any stupid, retarded meme coin. Like, it's going to be basically March of last year, but on steroids. And I mean, what do you think about? I heard Arthur Hayes. I know he's a turbo bull, like he's a permanent bull, but he thinks the cycle is going to go into maybe even 2026, and that it's more lined up with the global liquidity cycle, and that we could even pump until like 2028. What do you think about the whole 4-year cycle versus other stuff?
Obviously, it's kind of hard to say the 4-year cycle's done because we're not in October. I predict like it's about October time 2025. But I've kind of had this viewpoint that it starts to become similar to like the Nasdaq or what happened with the gold ETFs, right? Like what happened with gold. It becomes like these longer cycles when it comes to institutional money, and I do think that we see more of that, which is interesting. I mean, it suddenly, mitigates the kind of upside potential on a longer term basis, but it's more stable. It becomes more stable, particularly on the downside. So I do think that's probably true. If you look at the thing I really focused on in terms of trying to work out why the 2021 bull market finished in November of 2021 was because there was an announcement that they were going to start doing quantitative, not quantitative easing. What's the opposite? Quantitative
tightening.
Tightening, right? Yeah, quantitative tightening as of January 2022. So that was announced by the Fed in that month, and then people basically had sold out and had cashed out basically. So you look at it, you look at where the Fed's going and what they're probably going to do. And they've been talking about ending quantitative tightening in June of this year, and then starting to do quantitative easing from that point, doing some rate cuts, trying to bring it down to like 2%, and doing it over a longer period of time, which would take you into first quarter, second quarter of 26, which again, there's so many factors as well. You look at like everyone was so bullish on this kind of left translated cycle and it was all going to take off, and people forget, it's 4.5% in terms of the interest rate, meaning like your mortgages, your loans, your financing, is so expensive, and yet we've hit new all-time highs. So it's pretty interesting to see. And I do think really when you talk about that retail money coming in, a lot of it does have to do with low interest rates, just based off, and they end up becoming the top, right? They end up, buying the Pico top because that's when they hear about it the most. That's when they're hyped up the most. That's when you hear all the stories of, hey, I had this coin, I put 10 grand into it and I'm a millionaire now, or whatever, NFT craze and stuff. And then you time that with GTA, GTA 6 coming out in March 2026. Exactly. And they're probably going to have like some tools to have crypto within the game, or some use for that. I do think like 26 could be a top. It could be a top, but certainly
GTA 6 is a top signal. What do you think?
I mean, maybe maybe if you listen to Luke Belmar's like shit out of GTA because yeah, essentially. And you look at the rate cuts is still 26, so I don't see any reason why it wouldn't carry on. But again, I would be positioning myself probably to take profits up until that point, and have moon bags into 26.
Yeah. Well, if it comes out when it says it's going to come out, May 26th of 2026, that's about 1 year from now. That's your top signal, folks.
There you go. You never know. You have like a skin, or like have someone who's built up a character, and they sell it for a ridiculous amount of money. That could be a top. I'm putting it out there. NFT market's coming back. By the way, guys, an NFT market will come back. We saw this with Pudgy Penguins. There's still demand for NFTs. I do actually think NFT season comes back. I think that Game 5 really comes back. That would be kind of more of a top signal as well. Those things will come back. You'll start to hear about it again. And this is why a lot of people were like, oh, this recent top that we had with Bitcoin, they were like, oh yeah, that's the top. Like Solana just about edged above their all-time high. And bear in mind, it was kind of the most used network. And then you're like looking at all of the other altcoins. I think Binance did an all-time high, but everything else didn't. ADA didn't. XRP didn't. Loads of different stuff. So that euphoria wasn't there. There was certainly a lot of price action, and people were talking about crypto again, but it was more BTC and the ETF money pushing it, and institutional money pushing it to a new all-time high. We didn't see Ethereum do a new all-time high. So the characteristics or the fundamentals of what a bull market top is like everything's ripping. I remember when I got in and I bought Ethereum really, really low, and it just ripped, and I felt like a genius. I felt like that feeling of a newbie coming in and going, I just doubled my money, tripled my money in the space of like a few weeks. Like that is kind of what you're looking for in terms of a bull market top, because everyone thinks they're a freaking genius. They think it's going to last forever and it's going to carry on. And it's just a period of time. Maybe it's a few months, and then that's your top. That's the end of the cycle. And that's where you get that user growth that happens. And then you kind of lose that user growth as you go into a bear market. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, you look at it, we got the SEC case out the way. What a amazing, like it really validates kind of our jobs that we talk about all the time. Like, how did you feel about that? Because obviously you're kind of the front and center figure.
Oh, well, I would say I'd give that one to Richard, but when you Google PulseChain, my face does come up a lot. I don't know how I feel about that. Come on, guys. Get some YouTube videos out there. I look like the goddamn CEO. No, but it's it's cool, man. Like everything is lining up perfectly. What else? I mean, there's no ceiling. There's no artificial fear ceiling. Like you can't just point to Richard Hart as a scammer anymore. You can't just you can't just say, oh, I'm not going to buy it because it's got the SEC lawsuit. And I mean, it didn't pump on that news just because of the greater markets, like interest rates are still high, but when money does flood back, you can use this as one of the best advertising tools. And yeah, we knew we were right. We knew there was nothing nefarious going on here. You are one of the many YouTubers that probably had to deal with the oh shit, what if they come after me next, type of fear. Everybody that's brave enough to have been tweeting and making videos this whole time they deserve everything that's coming to them. It's not easy, right? A lot of people left, a lot of people went dark. All we're doing is talking on the internet. This is just free speech. What else can we say? Like, Interpol's next. Interpol's got to get cleared. And I believe Quinn Emanuel is the legal team for that. Like, I think they've done this kind of thing before. I think they've cleared people off of Interpol before, specifically. And we all know, Richard, I mean, it's not tax evasion. It's not, there's probably no battery of a child or something. Sounds all made up. Sounds made up.
I'll tell you what, if there was, I think it's pretty badass. They just bang some kid out.
Maybe that would be more bullish, right? Maybe
I'm bullish on it, man. Like when I saw that the Most token when it released, and he had that picture of him behind bars. I think you've used it as a PFP as well. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, you're taking the piss out of yourself. Like, that's, if you want a good meme, like, taking the piss out of yourself is a good way to do it.
Yeah. That's why I like Most Wanted. Nobody wants to be the least wanted. You take it, you flip it on its head. It's funny how probably not true that is, but hey, it doesn't matter when the candles are going up. Any news is good news. It can be spun in a positive direction. Richard's not the one going to jail. Alex Mashinsky, Sam Bankman-Fried, all the guys that talk badly about him, they were the real bad guys.
Did you hear about Mashinsky crying his eyes out in the courtroom?
No.
Yeah, in the docket they put that he was crying his eyes out just like halfway through. I was just like, Mashinsky, you're a scumbag, man. Like,
maybe don't steal everyone's money. Maybe don't literally take everyone's money and gamble with it, or just pay attention to what's going on at your company. If it wasn't him doing it, he should at least have paid attention to where. I mean, he was offering yields that were very high, and where were they coming? They were coming from extremely risky strategies. I think his coworkers or whatever, his partners, were actually leverage trading or just making all these investments. And some of those investments were obviously tied to FTX. I mean, a lot of people went bankrupt because they had invested in things like that were tied to FTX. That's how BlockFi went down, and Nexo, and some other companies too, because Sam Bankman-Fried had just invested in so many companies. So, and I think he extended lines of credit to a lot of them, which is like crazy that he could just do that based on his made up FTT token valuation, which, whatever. It's besides the point. Justice is served, the tables have turned, and I think we're back in, like, the universe is being repaired. The karmic debt is being paid.
Yeah. No, it's actually nice that it's kind of happened before things have really kicked off. Yeah, like there was part of me, and I think every quote unquote influencer, there's always an uncertainty, and when you have an SEC case, this can drag on and drag on and drag on. Before you really see a top, before you start to see like price moving in the alt season happen. And so it was very nice to see that, get that out of the way, like just to have that regulatory clarity. And for the guys who have been in it the whole time since 21, which a lot of guys came in 21, including myself specifically into HEX, well done. Like, well done. You were right. They were wrong, and they're still wrong. And so you will have the glory. It's going to be painful. Like,
there were moments of doubt. Absolutely. There were moments of doubt, it wasn't so much for me doubt as in like, are we going to lose? Like, I figured, in the worst case scenario, there's a settlement, fine. It was more so, fuck it, this lasts another 1 or 2 years. I better hunker down and just grind it out and just be mentally, like, I was mentally prepared for another couple years of this shit, like in the worst case scenario. But I mean, I'm elated, it's finally off of our plate. It's just a weight off our shoulders. I don't believe that the other 3-letter agencies like DOJ, FBI, I don't think they're interested in continuing any more of their frivolous stuff as well. We saw the DOJ cyber enforcement unit get dissolved. We saw the new FBI director, Kash Patel, Is that his name? Kash Patel?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He seems like a pretty good guy with his priorities straight, that it would make a good leader and not persecute people for political or unjust reasons. And I'm just glad that, the judicial system kind of held up. They kind of saved the day, because they've been the hero for a lot of these cases. That's why we have that 3-party system: judicial, legislative, and executive. It's checks and balances. And, if the SEC could just do whatever they wanted, it would be a pretty dark country to live in.
100%. I mean, I don't know where Gary Gensler is at the moment. What he's doing.
He's had some cushy job. He got hired probably back at Harvard or some shit. It's just a rotation. It's a nepotism. They work for academia. They go work for the government agencies. When you stay in the public sector for life, it's just, he's not contributing anything. He's just making up stories about crypto, whatever.
Who have you been the most? Someone's put in the chat about the influencers seeing green bubbles, and obviously there's been a few guys who've been talking about it. But who have you been the most impressed by in terms of mainstream crypto influencers?
I think I mentioned, a big shout out to Ran. I think people give Crypto Man Ran a hard time because of the one time he popped the HEX bubble. We gotta be a little more friendly sometimes. And I think most people are pretty friendly to Ran. But when it's the guy's got 1 million followers and he's talking about us, and it's not negative, right? You could tell he's a little scared because his reputation is on the line and he doesn't want to say anything controversial. And talking about PulseChain up until now was controversial, but he still talked about it from time to time. He still mentioned it. So shout out to anyone that's not ignored it. Mason versus Lewis never ignored HEX. Ivan on Tech never ignored HEX. I think they actually both like Richard Hart. But I would just like to see some of the other more, and some people just won't, and that's fine. If you're a Bitcoin maxi, or if you just only talk about one thing all the time, you can cater to that audience. We don't need to bag these influencers, but it will be nice to see more people feel comfortable. With these big guys. I'd like to see Altcoin Daily start talking about him, about PulseChain and HEX. Although we do troll him so much that I wouldn't be surprised if he's in a way we kind of scare people, right? Because but they've also said a lot of negative stuff about us. You can't be surprised if you shit talk HEX all the time, and then they attack you. We don't start the fights. We kind of finish them.
Yeah, we can be a bit brutal with that, but I understand it, because I think a lot of people have been entrenched or gatekept or whatever. But opening up the doors and trying to shake hands is going to be good going forward, because now there's nothing that's over you. There's no cloud of the SEC over you. We won the case. Simple as that. I guess there's the Interpol thing, but who gives a damn about Interpol? To be honest, the EU in general is one of the most corrupt regimes ever. So don't worry about that stuff, and this is particularly Interpol. But anyway,
and they're underfunded and they're understaffed. Allegedly, there's only 1,000 people that work at Interpol. That's a couple people in each country, and
that's great.
They get it wrong 5% of the time. I've heard. I don't know if this statistic is true, but every year, if 5% of the Interpol red notices get deleted out of the database, that means you got it wrong 1 in 20 times, and that's not good. 1 in 20 of your accusations are not true, and you're just terrorizing innocent people. I think they can do a little better.
Didn't want a payday. They didn't bring nothing until they saw the SEC and all the the publicity, and then they're like, oh, 2 bit.
You could almost see it. You could almost see the direct financial incentive there, and exactly what happened is, oh, there's a big SEC case. Oh wait, this guy lives in Finland. Oh, we're the Interpol. We're in Europe. This guy's got $1 billion. We want some of that. Mm-hmm. So let's also just chuck a random assault charge at him too, make him seem like it's almost comically bad. And just the timing of everything was the most suspicious part. The SEC case is coming to a close. Turns out the FBI was the originator of the case. Like when Finland was asked, hey, where are the source documents? Finland said, oh, you're going to have to go ask the FBI. So they didn't even start the case. You know, it was probably, they just tossed the ball back to the USA 3-letter agencies. And it's like, is everybody just in cahoots here? It kind of sounds like it.
Yeah. No, it just. The nice thing was, I mean, we've seen Richard do this video the other day, and Richard, if you're listening, me and Crypto Coffee were talking about, please make a bridge between Solana and PulseChain. You can easily just add it in.
Or, you know, we could, it's going to require a little bit of money, probably integration fees. But if PulseChain was on D-Bridge, Orbiter, Wormhole, any of those three, that would be huge for people to get from Solana into PulseChain. Yeah, you know, there's not many chains actually worth bridging from, but Solana is one of them. Yeah. So
I would say Solana, Sui, Sonic, Base.
Yeah, and liquidity is also part of the issue too. You need people to fund liquidity pools.
Yeah.
But if you want to make fees, you know, and you're bullish on both chains, yeah, a Solana PulseChain liquidity pool wouldn't be that hard.
That's right. And Rackham, if you're listening, please do pay the fee for Kraken listing. Whilst we're at it. You know,
anybody with money, feel free. Yeah,
guys, clip this up as well. Just send it to them, DM them. You know, get it out there because the thing is, look, I'm not the believer of like, oh, we don't need this stuff. Yes, we do need this stuff. We need to get over this idea of that we don't need it. Yes, okay, we don't need it, but we want to be out there, right? We do actually want to become mainstream. Why? Because hey, a lot of people say, hey, let's have a PulseChain ETF or a HEX ETF or whatever. Okay, if you want this to grow over the long term, you do want it to make you know, onboarding super easy. I would like someone, and I have a lot of friends that will not, unfortunately, do the decentralized thing and have their own wallet and, you know, have their own Trezor and all that kind of stuff. They want the convenience of just buying on their, you know, on their Kraken account or their Coinbase account or their Crypto.com account. Like, I've tried saying to them, this is not the best practice. We've seen FTX collapse. We've done that. They don't care. They honestly don't care. They just want to buy it with like a couple of clicks of a button. And so let's try and make that and facilitate that and make that happen. You know, let's make it as easy as possible. And I think
I think another easier way, like I think 1 or 2 major exchanges would be good. We don't have to beg for every, you know, low shit tier exchange, but Kraken would be awesome. Binance would be awesome. If we have 1 or 2, maybe if OKX relists us, great. Then we're good on that front. But then I think like MoonPay, Banksa, which shout out to hexscout.com for getting a Banksa listing pretty soon here for Pulse. These on-ramps that are just like put your credit card in and get PLS with higher limits. I think they've got like $20,000 daily limits. Those also, they pull liquidity right from the DEX on chain, and those are going to be probably even better because you can kind of copy and paste the widget into websites. What else is there? Transact. I actually got a call with Transact in about 25 minutes, so I'll let you know how that goes.
Oh, you're doing the groundwork, are you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope so.
Let's go, Coffee. Huh?
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we're building it. It's brick by brick. I think that Banksa listing is going to be nice. We've got all the tools, and one thing I particularly agree with Richard about from his video is that we've got everything built. You know, more yield farms, more NFT platforms, more DEXs. At this point, it's not gonna. It's only marginal returns. You're not getting as much bang for your buck. It's diminishing returns. Do we really need like an 8th NFT platform? No, I think we need marketing. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to start getting the word out there, be a little more bold, not necessarily outrage marketing, but just a little more, just have a little bit of a greater vision. I've had a little bit of a mindset shift about talking to the same old people versus talking to new people. Mm-hmm. And I've been past couple of weeks, I've been like extra conscious of that because I was starting to think, wow. And part of it is just that there's not a whole lot of new people in general coming in. So you end up But the snowball's getting bigger even during the bear market. We've onboarded people slowly but surely. But yeah, these bigger, larger marketing stunts, my body is ready.
So are you creating an alternative account called like PepLord69? And
No, but shout out to PepLord69. He's doing a great job. That is an actual person. No, hey, yeah, PepLord. It's a.
I think I know PepLord, but I didn't know it was 69 at the end. Maybe it's.
He should be if he's not.
I do know PepLord. Yeah. I love that.
My favorite meme coin. My favorite meme coin is the old top hat. We've got a new profile picture bot, so you can go on Twitter now and give everybody a PulseChain top hat with this PFP bot. Pretty all right. Pretty bullish on that meme coin over there. Low liquidity, just like most. Even lower liquidity than most. And not
not as low as Matty's token, but yeah.
Look, I do think that all you got to do is not rug. Like, is that so hard just to not sell? I think it is for some.
But yeah, no, sorry. By the way, anyone who says there's like cabals and all of this crap, right? Did I get the heads up on the top hat coin? No, I didn't. I was waiting.
I didn't give anybody a heads up.
I was waiting. Yeah, I had the phone here.
No. Nobody's special here. Everybody got the same tweet at the same time. And did a 10x. It's not bad at the bottom of the bear market.
Terrible.
At all-time low prices, we did like a 10x. So who knows how high it could go when prices actually come back. 7K ETH. Who knows if a whale is just gonna, you could chuck 40 grand at it and 4x the price.
The cappuccino whale. Is that what we're gonna?
We'll see. There's a couple of tricks we could pull out of the hat, so to speak, and one of them is liquidity bonding. We're already bonded the UFO token. That's pretty bullish. PTGC. We've got yield farms on emit.farms. We've got tokens that have just been burned. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of top hat has been burned forever. Who would do such a thing? Outrageous. What else? Yeah, yield farms, liquidity bonds, maybe a buy and burn coming up, maybe some more bots coming up, maybe a manual buy and burn just for fun. Who knows? More. We did giveaways. We've done meme competitions, giveaways, the whole gambit, and it's just more of that. When retail comes back, guys, it's gonna be almost not easy, but it's going to be a lot easier than it is now.
By the way, fun fact on retail, one of the highest search words the last few days has been Ethereum spelt with an I.
I love that. I love that. That is the real fucking leading indicator right there.
I was like,
good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The last few days, as Ethereum has been, guys, like incredible. If we look at the prices now, let me just have a look. It's great, even with a bit of a sell-off from the news. Obviously, Trump and China have come to a 90-day solution, but Ethereum sitting pretty nicely at 2.5 and 103K for Bitcoin. Yeah, it's looking good, looking very nice.
Yeah, let's see. Wow, we've got top hats up 20% today.
nice little show there.
Yeah, Ethereum, that's great and all, but no, everything's great.
But Coffee, you. By the way, I think the great thing about kind of PulseChain coming out and stuff, bro, you're in the shit coins just as much as me, just as much as everyone else.
I figure you got to speak people's language. I mean, I talk about HEX all the time. I still do. I just want to let people know I'm still going to show all of our bags. PulseChain, Pulse, HEX, INC token. I'm going to keep chilling the core coins just as much as I have, if not more. But some people, they speak the language of meme coins, right? So it's nice to be like, hey, I've got a meme coin for you. Hey, Solana guys, check out this meme coin. Like maybe HEX has a negative stigma, and it doesn't always work to lead with, hey, have you heard of HEX and our Lord and Savior, Richard Hart? And, do you practice the religion of staking? And it's like a lot of people don't care. They want like a gateway drug. And then maybe they'll start to care once they kind of stick around, start to follow some of the influencers in the space or whatever. Start going on the Twitter spaces and talking to these real people, and they'll start to form a community. And sometimes it's a slow sell or a soft sell.
Mm-hmm.
I think meme coins do sometimes help. Yes, it's a culture casino. No, you don't ever go all in on meme coins. Like, I'm a big believer of just the 10% lottery fund. You know, it's fine. It's going to be okay. You can have your core positions and you could play the other side of the field too, or you don't have to. You don't have to at all. Like, you literally just do it. I mean, some people just stake HEX and chill and go on with their life, and that's totally fine too. That's why HEX was designed. But you know, some people want to rotate, and I think if you rotate into like most token or Top Hat, like these are actually long-term meme coins, believe it or not. Like, I don't believe that they're going to be over and done with in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think there's been some tokens that are starting to really establish themselves on PulseChain, which is great. You know, even with dips or significant dips and stuff. And it's good to see. I love the sub communities. I think it's really important to have sub communities as well.
Well, what you say was you brought me into the idea of Reed's Law.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So like it's a substrain of what's
Moore's
the original?
Law?
Yeah. And so it's like if you think about it, you have, I'm going to try and say it in the best way possible, but you get these groups, and then they have these sub-formed communities, and then those sub-formed communities grow and grow and grow organically, and that makes the overall network effect even bigger, which is you do see this in religion. Actually, you see this where you have, let's say, for example, Christianity or Islam, and then you have subsects of those, and you have different ways of practicing, like Catholicism and, you know, Orthodoxy, and
Right.
that's the best example I can
And
give.
people might disagree, like, oh, I'm a Catholic, you're a Lutheran, you're a Protestant, but we're all arguing about the same shit under the same umbrella. You still believe in Jesus, and you still believe in God and the Bible. You just interpret it differently. And I think that's PulseChain. Right, that is PulseChain to a T. Actually, you've got infighting in the groups, but like we all agree that like PulseChain's good, and like we want to be on the chain. Maybe you have a different, more maxi approach, or maybe you have a total degen approach, or maybe you're somewhere in the middle like me. And then like everyone kind of picks their, maybe you're like super into PTGC or whatever. There's never going to be one cohesive way to do it, but there's a greater identity. As like PulseChain itself. And then if you want to zoom out, that's, you know, there's the crypto bubble as a whole too, where we all believe in fuck the banks and the government and all that stuff. These things are all just neo-religions. I do agree with Sami on that. These things are techno worship, right? Like society's entering, we're more secular than ever. We don't have a lot of strong beliefs. Even the family structure is dissolving, and that you can say, oh, it's a conspiracy by the elites to try to, you know, learned helplessness and to take all of our power away. But we find our communities again online, and we find that sense of purpose online. That's what crypto is to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley literally believes that they are like necromancing the next second coming of Jesus in a technical form. Like they believe AI will be like our God, and that it's their job to create it. There are people that believe this. I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the AI is probably the next kind of major religion, I think, or you know, that kind of servitude to AI. I think AI as a tool is pretty damn good tool, but yeah, it's kind of crazy how things are going and where things are going. It's going to be interesting how AI gets implemented into next cycle as well. You know, like a lot of people have talked about this idea of, you get into a Telegram group and it's probably just all AI bots that are playing different persons, and you go into like 1,000 people Telegram group and you don't know if it's a person or not. The lucky thing is, I mean, the HEX guys, they kind of like to meet up, so the meetups are always great, so you can actually see people.
Agree.
Yeah.
You know, it's there's like an apocalyptic scenario where an AI kind of infects everybody's phone or computer or something, you know, without people knowing, and then becomes self-aware and sentient, and then like decides that it no longer needs humans anymore.
That's That's why whenever you use Grok or ChatGPT, just make sure you say please and thank you. You know, 'Cause I'm just keeping them warm. I'm keeping them okay, just in case. You know,
It's not even the craziest idea. Like, I could imagine a world where that happens. I don't want that to happen, but it's evolving at a very, very rapid pace.
Skynet, Terminator, baby.
Terminator.
John Connor. But yeah, it's
gonna get weird.
Interesting where it's gonna go. Like, you know, like
there's gonna be fake me's. There's gonna be fake yous because there's enough of our content online. You could probably just make an avatar, and the scams are gonna get unreal. Like, make sure you tell your family about AI scams. Warn your parents or something. Just tell them that people can now replicate your voice perfectly, and soon your face. And don't fall for those imposters either.
You know, the beautiful thing is that there are like AI voice changers to make sure that you have a normal sounding Western voice. So thank goodness to Indian call center scammers, because they can finally make some money because the accent doesn't get in the way.
Hello, this is Jim. This is Jim from US Pharmacy.
What? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hello, buddy. This is Jim. Okay, Jim.
Shout out
Funny,
to you,
man.
Shout out.
I love my Indian brothers. Don't worry. It is most of the scammers are usually, I don't know,
Indian.
They could be from anywhere. There's first world scammers too. Tons of them.
There are. Yeah.
Some of them named Mashinsky and Sam Bankman-Fried. They just scam at a greater scale.
But the weirdest one was the funniest one was when SBF was on that having a documentary. And they were like, he's the most generous billionaire in the world. He's gonna give it all away. You just see like Sam Bankman-Fried like look out the corner of his eye, like sheepishly knowing that he's lying through his teeth while buying up Barbados.
He bought so much real estate on the island on the Bahamas.
Bahamas,
Nassau.
Barbados.
Yeah, it's close enough. Anyone that says that they are not in it for the money or that tries to suppress that side of it, like, I'm in it for the money. Sure, the tech, I'm also in it for the tech, but the money is pretty awesome. And when people try to virtue signal, I like Sam Altman, Sam Bankman-Fried. Oh, I don't care about money. And he drives like the nicest fucking sports car you've ever seen. It's like a multi-million-dollar sports car. Oh, but you don't care about money. So they're usually, the effective altruism thing too. It's a bit of a red flag. Like, people that virtue signal too hard are usually trying to hide something that they're suppressing in themselves.
Yeah, usually. Unfortunately, and at least he's got a friend in Diddy. I hear he's
cellmates. Allegedly. Is that real? He's in the same prison?
They're in the same prison, yeah. But I don't think I don't know if they're cellmates. But yeah, supposedly they've had good conversations. It's so weird seeing Sam Bankman-Fried in prison. Like it's almost like, and he looks like the stress has gone away from him. It's probably been healthy for him because the amount of like.
Well, think about it. He's off of stimulants. He basically got a free detox, and probably not the worst prison. I would imagine he's not in like a terrible state prison. Probably in a low security. If he's with Diddy, he's probably not in like the worst prison. I'm not saying he's got it good, but he is off the amphetamines maybe.
Exactly.
Who is Jason Williams? Do you know who Jason Williams is?
Jason Williams, no. Let me have a look. Oh, a basketball player.
This guy, no. He's got 265K followers. Going parabolic. The author of Bitcoin Hard Money You Can't Fuck With. GPA 11.8. I don't know exactly who this guy is, but he's got a lot of followers, and he just tweeted about Richard Hart is the smartest person I've ever met in crypto. All the people that took a lap calling him a scammer are lol.
Let me bring this up on stream. Hold on.
I don't understand. What is he saying? Is this?
There you go. Jason AI. Williams. 265K followers.
I don't know who this is. Bitcoin influencer. Shout out to Jason Williams. Thank you for the shout out. If it's not sarcastic.
All the people that took a lap calling him a scammer are lol. Wow.
I mean, probably a typo. Oh, he's trying to sell a book. Smart move. He's got a book to sell. Very convenient. No.
Well, you know,
that might actually be that's a really smart move, honestly. Good job, Jason.
We're saying that everyone does this, like maybe when they need to hit their monetization goals on X, where they just end up like doing, hey, HEX versus XRP, or like
we
were
talking about this.
You know, yeah, we're saying in the green screen, right? Like,
it's like if you want the most engagement you've ever had in your life, just tweet HEX will not go to $1, and you'll be like, you know, everyone freaks out, like, no, you're wrong. Like, comment. Like,
comment,
they just retweet.
They hook you in. They're like, right, let's just bait all the Hexicans out.
We'll go like tell other people, be like, hey guys, check out this hater. Better go tell him he's wrong, and like we'll spread the word.
Rally, get him.
Yeah. Swarm.
Grab the rocks, Abdul.
Yeah. Shame.
Shame. Yeah, exactly.
That was what you texted me when I launched my coin. It's just shame.
That's right. Yeah, from Game of Friends, right? Shame. I think I was on with DCC at the time. I was like, right, I'm gonna text Crypto Coffee because DC. I said to DCC, I was, did you get the heads on this coin top hat? And he was like, no.
Nobody did.
I was like,
nobody did.
Right, that's it. I'm gonna caps lock text him. Shame. Right?
Look, there's no cheaters, no inside like early announcements. And hey, we're on a dip, so some people bought the dip. It looks like. We'll see.
That's right. I'll try and buy some. I'll get to it. By the time I get to it, you know, everyone's probably buying it up. You know, every time I mention a coin on stream, it's like I go back after stream. I'm like, oh, right, great, it's gonna.
Oh yeah.
X amount.
You'll buy the top.
Yeah, I'll be actually.
Just be our top signal. Whenever Money Gang buys, then you guys sell.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Well, there's probably people tracking my wallets anyway, so we're quite good at that on this chain.
Oh man, privacy's cool. ZKZX is cool.
Yeah. So obviously things are kind of all good when it comes to what was the protocol that was used before?
Privacy pools? Oh, Tornado Cash.
Tornado Cash. Guys, anyone in the audience, listen, if you see some money, some entities that are moving money through Tornado Cash, just keep it to yourself.
Look, I'm guilty. I retweet that stuff. I've made shorts about it, but like
me too. I followed the wallet, but then you're like, just
it's good because you see it and you're like, oh, that's bullish. But like if you tell everybody, look, at least it's getting funneled through Tornado Cash, so you can't do like a timing thing because sometimes people will just front run. And they'll just like sell immediately after the OA buys. But now if they don't know when that's going to happen, if it's coming from fresh wallets, I'm a big proponent of more people using Tornado Cash, more people using ZKZX. Like we want the element of surprise. I think that matters a lot. Like if you buy and burn a coin at the same time every day, then people are just going to arbitrage that, right? Oh, we know he's going to do a buy and burn like at every month on the 15th at 3 p.m. Central. You know, they're going to game the system. So surprise is good. Using Tornado Cash is good. The developers are out of jail. I think they even ruled in favor of Tornado Cash not being illegal. Like they took it off the OFAC list. I think that's what it was. But now we've even got privacy pools, which is OFAC compliant privacy. And hopefully that comes to PulseChain. And just the more people using it, the better.
Yeah, privacy pools are pretty damn cool. Like, I remember when I think it was Richard who first tweeted about it, and then I was following some of the Ethereum developers on it, and it's it's interesting if you get bundled into a transaction that has a scam transaction, and then you have to then present your transaction logs to a compliance body and say, look, you can kind of separate your transactions and show which ones that they are, and in a pretty decent way, while still covering your tracks in terms of your secrecy. Mm-hmm. If you were to be, I don't know what, subpoenaed or something like that by government officials because you used a bundler to try and hide your transactions. So yeah, it's a good little invention, really, really good little invention that's been made. But yeah,
let's take it. Let's fork the shit out of it, like we forked everything else.
That's it. Now, talking to marketing, because obviously you saw, I thought, by the way, RH's video was hilarious. Sell pressure, all this. I thought it was great. Especially, I don't think a lot of people picked up on it, but he was talking about Ethereum, and he's like, yeah, I care about the price of Ethereum more than most people. I was like, yep, we know. Yeah.
Richard's got a bigger bag of ETH than Vitalik. Think about that. Think about that. He's more bullish on ETH than fucking Vitalik. Like, what? I mean, a lot of the Ethereum guys, they made their money. Now they care more about building than marketing. But Richard's like a blend of both. I think Richard's more of the marketing side. He still cares about building like sound products, but I think he also highlights Ethereum's roadmap because he's identified strategically like that is where the technology innovation is happening. Every innovation that's happened in DeFi, even the word DeFi, like it came from ETH, smart contracts and the EVM. You can make all these other blockchains, but at the end of the day, it seems to be the biggest developer community. It seems to be like where you're going to get the real breakthroughs. Like if something crazy happens from the fringes, then let's pay attention. But a million L2s and centralized Solana, like a lot of these things, like innovation wise, they're just recreating the wheel with cheaper, faster chains at the expense of centralization. And that's all. Dude, unfortunately, I got to get going. I got a call to take.
That's fine. We're coming up to the hour mark anyway. So, it's gone quick.
Yeah. Good times, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, good luck with the call, and the pleasure to have you. I'll sign off with this. Appreciate all you guys. Go follow. Well, if you haven't already, go and follow Crypto Coffee. And speak to you soon, man. Appreciate
you guys.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business that's in your family for 37 years and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth, which is Bitcoin.